Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today's video we're going to be brutally ranking. That's right, today's video we're going to be brutally ranking Crab Game. And if you're new to brutally ranking, I rank games on 5 different aspects: the gameplay, story, graphics, sound and music, and the price. So let's get into this. Right, let's be real, Crab Game is literally Squid Game but on some Roblox type theme. Like honestly, I would love to do my Crab Game in a nutshell type thing, but it literally is just Squid Game. The only difference is that you can only play with up to 16 players, but you still get a bunch of mini games and there always is just one survivor. So what actually makes Crab Game stand out? Well, it's the minigames. You don't just get a red light, green light clone and call it a day. Well, maybe, but the game has so much more to offer. So you spawn into the classic Squid Game dorm room, and then all chaos begins. This chaos being the minigames. And here is every single minigame in Crab Game. Tag, bomb tag, hide and seek, snow brawl, red light, green light, stepping stones, king of the hill, the floor is lava, race, bustling buttons, tile drive, dodgeball, death from above, and of course the Crab Game boss battle. So yeah, there are a lot. And obviously I want to show you guys the minigames, but I'm not going to bore you with every single one. So here's my top 5. The first being red light, green light. I know, I said at the start, oh, we didn't want another clone. But the thing is, it is just so classic and iconic. And I'm going to be real with you, if you mess this up, you deserve to be made fun of by your friends. Like, honestly, how do you fail this? I mean, like, I have, but I'm literally bad at, like, any game you could ever put me on. But it is just hilarious when one of your friends dies and you just hear their mic cut off after screaming so loud. Now, the second game, I chose Dodgeball. Honestly, it's one of my favorites, but it's also where I suffer the most. Like, I swear my aim in this mode is always so bad. And then on top of that, I have such bad omen that I'm always the solo person in a 2v1. So I'm stood here alone fighting 2 other people, and then I start missing every single shot like I've never touched a mouse in my life. Like, honestly, I'm just so bad at these games. So yeah, it is so painful, but it can be fun. The next one is Bustling Buttons. This one is pure anxiety. You have 4 buttons and 1 goes boom. You start off with a 25% chance, and I still overthink it like I'm trying to defuse a bomb in real life. But my favorite part is when you watch your overly confident mate explode because they picked the wrong button with no hesitation. Especially when there's only like 2 buttons left, because that gives a 50% chance. Now the fourth one has to be the race. This one just has pure Fall Guys energy and I love it. It's fast, chaotic, but somehow I always get stuck at the very start on doing some stupid hopping thing to the other side. I don't get it. So it's fun, but it does make me hate myself. Then finally, we have the crab boss battle. And I'll be honest, the only reason this is in my list is because the developer Dani used it so he doesn't get sued by Netflix. And honestly, I respect that. He was so upfront with it. But to be fair, the crab itself, I hate him. He's got too much health, and I know it's a battle, but this is the worst thing about it. Because the crab itself isn't the bad part. It's when you all team up and try and fight it, and then somehow one of your friends just decides to push you off mid-battle. Like, honestly, they annoy me so much when this happens. So yeah, the variety is quite a lot, and it's the kind of game which you'll keep coming back to just to mess around with your friends, even if you're bad like me. But now you guys kind of know what the mini games are like, let's talk about the movement. Because this is what secretly carries the whole game. It's so janky, so unhuman, but so satisfying. You're flinging yourself around with some weird gravity and somehow it works. And when I mean weird gravity, it's like if Bopple went 3D. The gravity's there, but it just feels weird. Also, you can watch me brutally rank Bopple after this video. I mean, it's a good video. It's alright. But when you use the movement, it's a smooth first-person control. But on the outside, your character looks so cursed, and that's what I love about it. But apart from the movement and minigames, there isn't much gameplay. Like, the only real other proper gameplay you could say is the character customization. And yeah, it's mostly cosmetics. You get crates by winning games, or if you're bad at the game, you can just buy them. And I think that's actually how this game makes money, but this is more for the price section. So with the cosmetics, you have some cool ones, but a lot of them are paid for, because with the crates, they're randomized, but when you pay for it, you get what you want. But honestly, that is all the gameplay. I just feel like there's not enough in this game. So overall, the gameplay in Crab Game is chaotic, stupid, and hilarious all at once. It's basically the Squid Game experience with some goofy aspects and less trauma. So it might be very goofy and addicting gameplay, but the thing is there's just not enough of it, and that's what really brings this down. So that's why I'm gonna give this section a 5.5 out of 10. So the story section, well, there isn't one. Like, there's no deep lore here, no dramatic cutscenes, no secret hidden messages in the background. It's literally just Squid Game. Like, that's it. You run around, do the games, and try not to die. It's simple. Well, to be fair, going on to my Squid Game point, Squid Game does actually have a lot of lore, but the thing is, it's nothing to do with Crab Game. So if you really want some kind of lore, then just go binge watch Squid Game on Netflix. It's basically the same thing, but with actual storylines and less janky ragdoll physics. But I do just want to say this game can't be based off Squid Game as it has a giant crab boss fight, so now he physically can't get sued. So yeah, this section will have to get a 0 out of 10. Like with most indie games, and what I say in most of my videos at this point, the graphics here, well, they're debatable. I'm guessing their budget wasn't massive. A lot of these assets do seem like they came from free or cheap packs, or maybe even Dani the developer. But honestly, that doesn't mean they're bad. In fact, I actually like them. They're dumb and goofy. It kind of reminds me of Schedule 1, but worse, in a good way. It makes everything feel funnier and way less serious, which suits the game perfectly. Like the characters especially, just look at them. They look like goofy action characters with weird cosmetics slapped on top. But to be fair, they are very basic. Like, he definitely could have added more detail like blushes, wrinkles, something just to break up the flat skin. Or even face morphs to make this guy from Squid Game Season 1. Although I do actually understand why he's done this. Dani actually made the characters for this game. And on top of that, he made the entire thing in 2 weeks. So genuinely, I'm quite impressed. If he made the whole thing in 2 weeks, the characters must have even taken 2 days. But where the graphics do kind of surprise me are the maps. Like the layouts for certain minigames make sense, especially race, and the environment, it just feels so right for how it's made. And I'm kind of glad that Dani didn't go too overboard on the textures. I do also like the subtle mix of foggy backgrounds and volcanoes in the distance, or even just fake rooms with fake skies. Like, it really does give off the trapped vibe which fits the Squid Game so well. I do just want to give an honorable mention to one of the maps, and this is specifically for red light, green light, because the doll in it is so funny. See, when I first played this game and I went into red light, green light, I thought it would just be the iconic doll from Squid Game. But no, Dani changed the doll's face to his own, which just made it so much funnier. It looks so random. So yeah, I just wanted to see that little section because I just thought it was so iconic. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's not loads to say here. The graphics are pretty simple. Like, if you showed this to someone who didn't know the game, they probably just think it's another janky indie game. And in some ways, they're kind of right. The graphics are so minimal that you'll probably run this game off some bloody, like, potato PC. But like I said, just because they're basic, it doesn't really mean they're the worst. But I think Dani did a good job getting everything to work together, even if I do think a lot more detail could have been used. So yes, the maps and the characters are so minimal that there's just not too much to say about it. So that's why this section is going to get a 3 out of 10. Coming into this section, I genuinely expected Dani just to rip off the Squid Game OST. Like, it would have been so easy. But no, instead he asked Context Sensitive to make the music for him. And honestly, it's alright. But the best way to describe it is saying it's like a parody of the Squid Game's OST. So actually going into the music, the Crab Game OST has a total of 5 songs. Not much, but hey, just because it's small doesn't mean it's bad. But before I do get into any of the songs, I do just want to give credit to Context Sensitive for making the entire soundtrack. He's also worked on previous games' OSTs before and did a solid job here. So to start this section, I'm going to go with the most iconic song, and it's called Crab Vibe. The second you open the game, this is what it plays, and I swear I got hit with an instant deja vu. It sounds exactly like that dramatic Squid Game violin track, except here it's being made to sound all goofy and cursed, but honestly, I love it. It may not be original, but it works. The next song I want to talk about is kind of switching things up, and it's called Crab Step. And when I mean switching it up, the Crab Vibe song, it was amazing, but here, I don't really like this song. It's another parody of the Squid Game track, and probably one of the most popular songs. But it sounded like it was remixed in someone's microwave or something. It's just some weird glitchy dubstep thing, and if that's your thing, then cool, but I'll pass for now. Then there's Big Funky and Lights Out. Big Funky lives up to its name. A funky track that plays during stuff like the race game. It's stupidly hype and makes the chaos even funnier. Then Lights Out, which is a more ambient and creepy song, but it fits perfectly when the lights go off and everyone suddenly becomes a murderer. And finally, for the songs, we have a song called Carlson Vibe. I don't know who Carlson is, but this track is a vibe. The track plays when you win a match, and even though I barely hear it because, you know, I'm just bad at this game, it hits every time. But yeah, that's every song in this soundtrack, so overall, it's not a huge OST, and half of it is just Squid Game parodies. So even though it can be iconic, they're still parodies, not a lot is original, and I just feel like it could be a lot better and longer. So I'm going to give this section a 3 out of 10. Now going on to the sound effects. There's literally a 60-minute video of every sound and music in Crab Game, and I'll link it below if any of you want to see it. But to be fair, when watching it all, there's nothing crazy here. Most of the sounds are pretty simple, but some of them are kind of iconic. The most iconic is probably red light, green light sound effect. It is very recognizable as it's just some weird beep, but it is so perfect for trolling people if you have a soundboard. Next, I have Ice Break and Rock Break. These sound effects make stepping stones 10 times funnier. Someone will do a leap of faith and the sound effect of it cracking is just so funny. Then we have the revolver shot. This one can catch me off guard a lot, especially in the red light green light minigame. Because when it goes red light and I have to stop and hear a revolver shoot from behind me without me knowing my audio was up to the max, it is loud enough to make me flinch and accidentally move. Then we have one of my favorites, Bat Hit. It's simple but satisfying. When you smack someone, it just gives like the good old so it just never gets old. And finally, I just put this in as kind of like an honorable mention, but the round start and the round end sound effects. You hear this every round, so it kind of just becomes a part of you when you keep on playing. So yeah, those are kind of all the iconic sound effects I found, and they're not high quality or anything, but they do add so much dumb chaos. So without them, I feel like the game would feel pretty flat. So for the sound effects, I'm gonna give it another 3 out of 10. Meaning that overall for this entire section, I'm gonna have to give it a 3 out of 10. Finally, we have the price, and I'm genuinely shocked because this game is free. Like, actually free, no hidden fees. Like, if you told me that there was gonna be a game based on the biggest show to ever hit Netflix, I'd assume it would have to be at least £5 minimum. But no, Dani just dropped this thing on Steam completely free, and I kind of see why. Most of his profits are probably from his YouTube, and he probably made quite a lot of money just off the Squid Game video. But before I found out he was a YouTuber, I really did think this was a bit weird that the game was free. This is because releasing a game on Steam costs £100, and then you have to pay the servers if it's an online game, which isn't cheap. So the more the players, the more the servers, and the more money goes down the drain, and this game did blow up, so I'm thinking the servers must have been expensive. So apart from the YouTube, how does this game passively make money? Well, it likes to follow a simple trend that games in recent years have loved to do. This is purchasing in-game cosmetics. It's the same trick that Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, and even Pixel Gun 3D have done. You throw a bunch of silly hats and skins and somehow people want to spend money. Except from Fortnite when I was younger, now I'm so stingy with money that I would not even buy any of these cosmetics, but it is an indie game so I would support Dani. But genuinely, I'm so stingy with my money, I would gladly wait for a £2 game to be 50% off before buying it. But like I said, the cosmetics don't really do it for me. There's no really cosmetic that says to me to spend £5 on a guy to wear a bucket hat. But honestly, like I said, I still buy one just to support Dani. But not just because this game's indie, but it's also because you get free crate boxes when you win matches, meaning you can unlock cosmetics without spending a single penny. This kind of shows the way how Dani feels about the game and that you don't have to spend money. But the option is still there, and if you want to support the dev, I love that, because there's no pay to win garbage or no ads that play like every 10 seconds. He's literally just said, hey, here's a game and tip me if you feel like it. And for an indie dev, I find that quite rare, and it's exactly why this section is going to get a 9.5 out of 10. So coming into the ranking section, let's see how many points Crab Game got. So for gameplay, we can see that it got a total of 5.5 out of 10. Then story getting a 0 out of 10, graphics getting a 3 out of 10, music and sound also getting a 3 out of 10, and finally the price having a 9.5 out of 10, meaning that in total Crab Game gets a 20 out of 50. Overall, it's not too bad, it's not too good, it's a mix, it's a bit weird. But let me know what you guys thought of the game, and please leave a comment for what games you want to see next. Apart from that, see you in the next one.